welcome back to the Gymsesh Top Tips channel. What we're going to do today is we're going to cover what a lot of people think is quite a complex movement, especially in and around like the sports of CrossFit or calisthenics. What I'm going to cover is the ring muscle ups. It's a movement that I couldn't do at one point, but putting a little bit of practice and trying different techniques, I was able to do a ring muscle up and being able to adapt to that exercise and then progressively overload with it. So that's what I'm going to share today, is how to do the ring muscle up. I think there's some things as well that can help you actually be able to do a ring muscle up. And I think the two big main things, is probably be really good at pull-ups, and at least I would say be able to comfortably do between 6 and 10 strict pull-ups. And just being able to have that in your wheelhouse will just enable you to have that power and that explosiveness to be able to pull up onto the ring and sort of into that transition. And when you're thinking of transition, you're sort of transitioning from a pull-up and then into a dip. So that's the other exercise that I believe is going to be the most beneficial for this, is doing lots of dips and being able to also complete 6 to 10 reps on strict dips. And you can either do it on the parallel dip bars or you can practice on ring dips itself. But those are the two big main exercises that I focused on to be able to do the muscle up. And then all I had to do was learn how to transition from the pull up and then into the dip. And once I did one, and you're constantly doing it, and you started tapping into that muscle memory, it actually becomes an exercise that's not actually that hard for you to do anymore. And over time, you can just constantly keep doing. So every workout, you'll go, right, I'm going to do 2 muscle ups on this workout. And then the next day, you're right, I'm going to do 3. And then before you know it, you just progressively overload, because then you've started to adapt to that exercise and you've created that sort of muscle pattern, and your body knows naturally how to move in to that muscle up. Obviously, the only other piece of equipment I obviously going to need, apart from obviously the rings up there, is, for me personally, I also like to wear some sort of wrist straps, and it's just to give me the protection here to stop any of the friction off the ring itself rubbing, because I'll go on to it later. But the best way I find to initially to get up onto the ring is using like a false grip, and I'll show you that. And I'll wear these wrist straps as well, and it's just to stop me getting any sort of friction. Like I said, obviously before we even get to the muscle ups, I believe it's one of them movements that everyone wants to be able to do straight away. But I believe if you're struggling to do strict pull-ups and strict dips, you will struggle to do that movement, because it's quite an explosive and a very athletic movement. So obviously, I'd see here, we've got obviously the pull-up bar, and I'll just do strict. This is how I built up the strength to be able to do ring muscle-ups. It was all about just strict pull-ups. I'll show you some strict pull-ups now for those that don't know what they look like. Yeah, you can have a wide grip. You can do the chin-up style. It's all going to give you that explosive strength in the lats and the arms. Yeah. So strict pull-ups, being able to complete them nice, slow and controlled, will give you that explosive powerness either in the arms and the back, because it's all that pulling power is coming from your arms and your lats and all them really strong back muscles, just to pull your body weight up and into that movement. Yeah, so now you've done some strict pull-ups, you've put that into your build-up training, your adaptation phase, and you've started progressively overloading with your pull-ups. Also, to add into that, you want to add some dips in. You can either do it on the parallel bar dips, like these here, or if you have access to obviously a cage or somewhere else where you can put the rings, and you start doing actual dips on the rings, because obviously once you do a pull-up, you're going to move into that transition on the rings as well. And obviously you can tighten these up to a point where you could do pull-ups on the rings as well. You can also do pull-ups on the other rings that you've got set up for your like muscle up area. And what we'll talk about is the dips. And when you do transition into the dip, that strength that's coming from your chest and your shoulders, when you start doing dips, if you haven't done dips before, you'll find that after you've done it, you feel really tight in there, like you've been stretching your pec muscles. But just adapt to the exercises slowly and then progressively overload, and your chest and your shoulder muscles will just naturally get stronger. So, and if you are struggling with dips and you can't push your body weight out, you can do jumps just to get you used to moving in that direction. So, you know, you can get in and just jump up, hold. You can do negatives all the way down and then jump up and then just slowly release back down until you start creating that strength and that power to where you can actually push yourself back up again, because now you're trying to create that pushing power. So get onto a dip bar, however you want, cross your legs, bend them up, whatever, and obviously go all the way down. And when you do a muscle up, you'll catch yourself in a very deep position like this on the rings itself, and it's being able to control that movement and then push and have the pushing power to push yourself up and lock out and complete that muscle up. So start adding those into the movement. I'll do a few repetitions so you can see how it looks, but you want to be aiming between 6 and 10, as well as the pull-ups, and that will start giving you that explosive pulling and pushing power in your upper body. So this is what they should look like when you're adding them in to your weekly routine or your daily routines, whatever you're doing. Yeah, so that's the dip. If you're struggling to do dips like that, you can get the rings and you can set these up in an area where you can do it as well. You can actually go down onto your knees and get into that position. This is the position that you're going to find yourself once you've done a pull-up into the dip. And you can literally just push yourself up and back down. And just keep pushing yourself up and back down. By doing this, you're kind of halving your body weight, because you're leaving your feet on the floor. And as you progress up, you just lift these rings up until the point where your actual body is off the floor and you're pushing yourself up and down, creating that pushing power. The next thing that I wanted to talk about was the false grip. As you can see, when you jump up onto the rings, the false grip, I'm not going to go into too much depth about it, because I've seen videos that are really long and lengthy about it. All you need to do is get your hands in your wrist. Basically, you're up on the rings like that, and your hand is sort of bent round like that. That gives you, when you transition from the pull-up into the dip, which creates the muscle up, your wrist or your hand is already on top of the ring, so you just go up that much smoother, and it just looks like that. So you can practice, if you can set up the rings, you can practice some transition from your lower down rings, just to get you used to that. So you can take a seat, you can practice getting in with that false grip on the rings itself. You can practice turning out and practice. If you need to create some strength in your wrists and your forearms, you can also practice some sort of ring rows using or utilising that false grip. And I'll show you like these now. You're doing the false grip and you just do some low level ring muscle ups. Adapt to that exercise, progressively overloaded. If you don't have the power yet to hold a percentage of your body weight with using that false grip, just keep practicing that and put that into your workouts. As the days and the weeks go by, you will create that muscle pattern and that strength, and you will be able to just naturally pull yourself up in that false grip position. The other one is good for this position is if you're down using the false grip, yeah, you can just get down like this and then transition as if you are doing a muscle up. So you do an explosive pull and push, and you're there, and pull and then push, That is the movement. Pull and push. And another good one for when you're pulling and pushing is when you're on the rings and we go into the rings itself, is look at the sky, as you pull, and you can feel those rings getting closer and closer to your chest. Look at the floor, and that naturally your head is like a counterweight itself, so wherever your head goes your body follows. If you're looking up, and at the last moment you look down, your body will just naturally rotate round and on top of the rings, as long as you've done all the proprietary work with pull-ups and dips, and you've created that strength and explosiveness to get you in that position in the first place. So like this, rather than the pull-push, like I said, just look at the ceiling, pull, look at the ceiling, look at the floor. Look at the ceiling, look at the ceiling, look at the floor. Over time, you can just keep adding and adding and adding. Yeah, so now we're in a position where we've done pull-ups, we've done dips, we've practiced our transition. Now we want to start putting all those pieces together and actually be able to do the muscle up itself. If for whatever reason, actually the rings that I've set up at my gym are they're at a height where I have to jump to get onto them in that false grip position. But you know, you can use a box obviously to get yourself up there as well. But what I wanted to do was just show you some pull-ups actually using the rings itself rather than the straight bar, because that is what you're going to be doing. So you can actually just get up onto the box, or you can jump up, it's fine. But when you're up here, you can actually practice getting into that false grip and how you're going to get up there. So all you need to do is just slow yourself down, but what you need to do is practice some strict pull-ups on the rings itself. And I would say trying to get the ring up close to like your armpits or your nipple sort of area. Like that. Being able to do them consecutively and comfortably. Yeah, they're not easy. Yeah, but neither is this movement. It's not supposed to be easy, it's quite an explosive athletic movement. But building that strength up over time, you'll be able to do that. What I'm going to actually go into now is actually doing the full muscle up itself. As you can see it, the way that I do muscle ups is very suited for CrossFit, Metcon style training, where you're trying to bang out reps as fast as you can against someone else. You're racing someone's time in like a 21:15:9 workout. So I'm not all about strict gymnastic type. I will swing and kick because I also want that momentum to get back up there so I can count another rep off within my workout. Right, so now we're ready. We've done our pull-ups, our dips. We've added that to our training. We've got that strength. Now we want to start actually practicing on the rings itself. What I do like to do is I like to put loads of chalk on my hands and all, because all the time when you're trying to like bang out multiple reps on this, your hands start slipping, and that chalk just gives you that extra little bit of grip on the wooden rings itself. So I just start off, I get under my rings, I look up as if I'm going to jump up, and like I said before, as I jump up, I get in and I look at the ceiling and then I look at the floor, and I'll get in above and on top of that ring. So the first thing is, I jump up, I look down, I turn my hands out. Now I want to go up, look at the floor. Yeah, that is one complete rep. Down. So obviously today it was just about showing you ring muscle ups and how to sort of create that strength within your training by doing lots of pull-ups and lots of dips, either on strict bar pull-ups or ring pull-ups or ring dips or parallel dips. They'll all give you that strength and they'll also go over. So when I start doing a lesson with bar muscle ups, you know, that same strength that you've acquired here will transfer over to there as well. And just to add to that, it's something that if you haven't done before, you need to practice. So every day, I would say for about 3 weeks, I couldn't do them. So then I just kept putting more pull-ups and more dips in every workout. And then slowly, when I was able to manage one, every workout, I just kept adding an extra few in all the time. and then to the point where like I'll come to it and I've got to do 5 muscle ups. I might not get 5 unbroken. I might do 2, then 3, and then eventually you'll do a 4, and then eventually you'll do 5. I'm not going to cover in this video kipping and how to sort of transfer, move into the next rep, but you'll be able to see it in the video as I do it. I'm going to go for unbroken. I'm going to try and do 10 unbroken muscle ups. The most I've done before is 8. I normally get between 7 and 8, round about there, and my hands either start moving on the rings or I mess my form up. But I am going to go for 10 today. I'm going to have a go. But over time, that's like where I'm at. And I would say it took me, I've always done pull-ups and dips quite a lot. I've just added it more into my workouts because I really wanted to do ring muscle ups. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like button, and also please subscribe. The next video that I'm going to do is I'm going to start talking about the bar muscle ups and how I avoided chicken winging, that old phrase that people have heard, and how I got rid of that. And the exercises that I did to get better at that, utilising things like the hollow hold and certain places where to stand and where to tap your feet to go into that bar muscle up. But I'll cover that in the next video. But for today, if you liked, please subscribe. Give the thumbs up, but I'm going to go for max unbroken ring muscle ups. First of all, plenty more chalk on my hands. I'm aiming for 10. I'll be happy if I got 8. Nine, one more and I'm there. Oh, gets it. Woo! And that's what adaptation, progressively overloading allows you to do. 10 unbroken ring muscle ups. I hope you like. Please subscribe.